Yeah. 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶𝗁. Akumana ndagarisa singawe live on Facebook. Hey, I've spent too much time ndisiri pa live on Facebook. Ndikambotanga nesalute. Tisata tsemura dhirora. Tisata bvarura dhirora nai. Andisikuona vanhu vari kuuya. Notifications be sent. Pane 1 muna 2 vapo 3 4. Come on guys, let's share this. 6 people. Yeah, vakakwana 10 kana 20 ndokanda dhirora. 9 people. Tingaona 11 more. Tipotsere dhirora. Tisata tanga 10 people. Uyai. Asa vanhu vadhini kana ngoma shapira wasikuya live 12 people. Ikwana 20 titsemure dhirora. 11 people. 9 people to go. Let's share the video. Let's share guys. Tadzoka pa 10. Tingatsemura dhirora nevanhu 10. Tadzoka pa 11. Let's share the presentation. Inonakidza manje. Let's share. Mkoma Yuda wele zviri sei antavepo muri vashoma kumana. Atete ilin chigumira zviri kufamba iri dhirora iro vanogara mudhiriora rembanje nogara mudhiriora iro vanogara mudhiriora rembanje vanogara mudhiriora vakomana dhirora rembanje vanogara mudhiriwo vakomana vanogara mudhiriwo dhirora rembanje vanogara mudhiriwo musatambe navo vanogara mudhiriwo dhirora rembanje vanogara mudhiriwo dhirora vakomana dhirora rembanje vanogara vana dhirora iro vanogara mudhiriwo dhirora rembanje vanogara mudhiriwo dhirora iro vanogara mudhiriwo dhirora rembanje vanogara mudhiriwo vakomana vanogara mudhiriwo dhirora rembanje vanogara mudhiriwo musatambe navo vanogara mudhiriwo dhirora rembanje vanogara mudhiriwo dhirora vakomana. Kana neunobvunzwa kuti takutanga kuroka presentation nayo nhasi ndine ka presentation kamukangorowa meno kandora kuti vanhu tinzwisisana. Ka presentation akaita kuti ndiuye. I've just brought a warning to ED Mnangagwa and his associates. This is a warning that I'm giving to Mnangagwa and associates. Chemkwanda bwanji achimwene zviri kufamba ere dhirora vakomana. Anzi ndiri kuya warning chete. It's a warning that I need to how are you, my brother? I'm well. Hope you are well. And the family is fine. It's a warning that I need to give to Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa and his associates. Warning yacho ka warning kamukangoti omdara. The world is very small. I want people to understand today's presentation is for about people to understand that this world is very, very small. Very small. Tindo, gutu zviri sei mwana wamai. This world is very, very small. Akuna business raunofunga kuti ungaita uchita money laundering. People are ignoring the gold mafia documentation yakaburitswa neAljazeera. But you don't know the impact of that documentation. You don't even know the impact of that documentation. I'm going to look into the impact of that documentation. I'm going to look into the impact of international money laundering being done in Zimbabwe by British citizens. Once I apply for a British citizen, and I'm British now, and in a citizen in Britain, anything that I will do, even if I go outside the country and engage in any money laundering activity, the British government can arrest me. the British government can investigate me because I am their citizen, involving in illicit deals outside the country that will tarnish the image of the United Kingdom. So people do not understand the impact of it, that 𝗵𝗵𝗴𝗶𝗵 is likely to go to prison in the United Kingdom for his role in that gold mafia illicit deals. You don't know that, but I want to highlight certain things to you. Anganga inu wanji chainoki zugenda bwa right tikutaura about that. Before I venture into that as well, I need to talk about things that you all guys understand. We've got Malawi. I'm going to start discussing about Malawi. Malawi, the Navy of Africa. Malawi, when the sun rises. That is a beautiful country. That's my country of origin, although I am Zimbabwean, born and bred in Zimbabwe. But I need to talk about politics in Malawi. Then I'll talk about politics in Angola. I'll talk about politics in Nigeria. I want you to understand the impact of corruption, money laundering, and so forth. Why I am doing this is because we have seen a lot of government tenders being awarded to Sakunda. Every government tender is Sakunda's tender. Kugadzira road, it's Sakunda. Kugadzira dam, it's Sakunda. Kugadzira roundabout, it's Sakunda. Kutenga mabazi munyika from Belarus, it's Sakunda. Hey. That takes me back to Angola. When we talk of Sakunda, I think of Angola. Quite a lot of illicit deals that were done in Angola, which made Dos Santos' daughter probably the richest woman in Africa, and probably the richest African woman worldwide. It's because they won those tenders from government, inflated the prices, and all tenders were just given to Isabel Dos Santos, Isabel Dos Santos, Isabel Dos Santos. This is what is happening in Zimbabwe. All tenders being given to Sakunda, this tender Sakunda, that tender Sakunda, to procure oil for the country Sakunda, to procure water treatment chemicals Sakunda, to procure to do like road surfacing Sakunda, to do National Sports Stadium bucketing Sakunda, Rufaro Stadium Sakunda, Gonzala Stadium Sakunda. Who is Sakunda? Who is Sakunda? Who is Sakunda? And why is it every contract that emanates from government goes to Sakunda? What are the procedures? What are the tenders? Let me warn Emmerson Mnangagwa and his Sakunda. These are his associates. The world is very small country. We understand you guys, you've got money is frozen under targeted sanctions. And I now understand that you have got little control of the frozen funds in foreign countries. This is why you see ZANU-PF people are crying a lot. Hey, sanctions must be removed. Hey, sanctions must be removed. They come to tell you that come and cry with us. They want you to help them cry. Zimbabweans, unsuspecting Zimbabweans, uninformed Zimbabweans, people who are not well informed about the targeted sanctions. I made a presentation last time about the targeted sanctions of Zimbabwe, where I highlighted certain issues that you must not cry, Zimbabweans. If you look at what is Zimbabwe is coming to the United Kingdom, they are coming on sponsored visas, what they call COAs. If we were in sanctions, if Zimbabwe was under sanctions, those people won't be able to come from United Kingdom, from Zimbabwe to come and work in United Kingdom. That shows that Zimbabwe is not under any sanctions from United Kingdom. This is why you see Zimbabweans who are skilled, they can come from Zimbabwe direct to the United Kingdom. You get visas, you come and work here. You understand? That shows you are not on targeted sanctions. But there are certain people who are on targeted sanctions. Even if they apply those COS visas, they won't be able to be allowed into this country. Who are those people? Who are those people? And those are the same people who are asking you to say, uyai mundibatsire kuchema. Ndine mari dziri frozen mabanks in Britain. Ndine mari dziri frozen in other European countries. I can't access my money. Please come and help me to cry. Come and help me to make noise that these sanctions must be removed, because they want access to their bank accounts. They want access to their money, which is frozen in foreign currency. I don't know why they can't bank that money. If that money was banked in Zimbabwe, it won't be frozen. It will be money in Zimbabwe where they can go and withdraw anytime, but they can't now come to UK to withdraw their money. They can't go to America to withdraw their money. What is left out to them is to lure you. Come, hey, we are under sanctions. Come, help me cry. You see, we are going to talk about that. Go. So we are going to talk about that tonight. I'm not going to take long, almost an hour, discussing about these issues so that people of Zimbabwe may be well informed, highlighted. I want to open your brains. Right now, let me venture into business. Dirora rembanje vanogara mdirwo vakomana vanogara mdirwo dirora rembanje vanogara mdirwo usatambe navo vanogara mdirwora vanogara mdirwo dirwora vakomana dirwora rembanje vanogara mdirwo dirwora iro vanogara mdirwo dirwora rembanje vanogara mdirwo dirwora vakoma vanogara mdirwo dirwora rembanje vanogara mdirwo vakomana vanogara mdirwora pakaipa. So let's venture into business. First of all, let me look into Malawi. The Navy of Africa. We all understand that Malawi's president, Lazarus Chakwera, he fired the army chief and replaced that army chief with the commander who was dismissed by Wamtarika, not Bingu, but Peter Mtarika. Peter Mtarika dismissed the army chief. And when Chakwera came in power, he went straight to Malawi Broadcasting Corporation. Chakwera said that the general Vincent Nundwe, we all know the general who made headlines in SADC, General Nundwe, the army chief, the commander of the Malawi Defense Forces. He is the man that if I meet him in the streets, I will salute him. There are reasons that I will salute General Nundwe, a Malawi general, a commander of Malawi Defense Forces. If I meet him today, I salute him. If any Zimbabwean meet General Nundwe, salute him. Your voice is gone, Shepi. You can't hear me. Guys, is it problem? Those who can, guys, can they laugh, never likes, and things go to Murundi in Sweden. Kayemba, can they laugh, never likes, maybe internet yangu. I might be forced to cut this presentation and come back again. Love and likes. If you can hear me, guys, love and likes. I said, 𝗃𝗂𝗄𝗵, I think your internet might be something wrong, but people can hear me. Guys, can they love nema likes kana mchindinzwa? Boss kana musikandinzwa ndingona wani munarukanda General Kayemba, Eustace chimpana changu ichi. Ndochiriko kanda chega vamwesa murundinzwa here. Kana makundinzwa ndokondinya. Keni zviri sei? Zviri kufamba here. Urundinzwa here Keni? Blacken, murundinzwa here. Kana mchindinzwa kanda ima love nema likes. Ndoziva kuti murundinzwa. Hanzi volume yaenda. Kana volume ya saka vanhu varundinzwa. 𝗃𝗂𝗵𝗵, I think you can log off and come back again. You might, your gadget or your, it could be your gadget or internet that is playing some games. Or it could be mine as well, because I can see it blinking. continue, we can hear it. Thank you, General. So I was talking about the commander of defense forces in Malawi, who is General Vincent Nundwe. He was dismissed from his position by Peter Mutharika. You guys, let's understand. When Peter Mutharika, when his brother 𝗵𝗂𝗴𝗶 died, we all know that 𝗵𝗂𝗴𝗶 was Peter Mutharika's brother. When 𝗵𝗂𝗴𝗶 died, the Malawi constitution automatically takes or put the vice president in power. The vice president automatically assumes the president of Malawi if the incumbent dies. Right. So when 𝗵𝗂𝗴𝗶 died, this general I'm talking about, Vincent Nundwe, General Nundwe, he gave a call to the Malawi Chief Justice and say, look, you are the Chief Justice of Malawi. You are the person who heads the three pillars of government, which is legislature, executive, and the other pillar of the state, judiciary. So we've got the judiciary, legislature, and the executive. So the executive member, Peter Mutharika, died. Then automatically, the Chief Justice of Malawi, he received a call from General Nundwe. General Vincent Nundwe called him and said, look, Chief Justice, our president has died. So what does the Constitution say? You are the custodian of the Constitution of Malawi. What does the Constitution say? The Constitution says automatically the vice president assumes office, right? Because there was commotion in Malawi where Peter Mutharika was fighting to be president of Malawi because his brother had died. Mainunu ziri say hello bosuda ndangoti ndikumhorese chete pelele ziri say mwanama ziri kufamba. So what, there was chaos in Malawi. Peter Mutharika wanted to be president, and the vice president during that time was Joyce Banda, my Banda. You still remember when I went to Malawi, I took one of the pictures of my Banda and I showed the people, look, I've met my Banda and so forth. She was the vice president. So what happened is General Vincent Nundwe called the Chief Justice of Malawi and he said to Chief Justice, look, you are the custodian of the Constitution, you are the custodian of the judiciary and so forth. The president has died. And what does your Constitution say? The Constitution says vice president automatically assumes the office of president. Then he said, okay, fine. He sent soldiers to go to the Chief Justice to say, go and guard the Chief Justice. Then he sent soldiers and motorcade to my Joyce Banda. And they say, you, Joyce Banda, you have automatically assumed the presidency of this country because our president has died. So the motorcade went to my Joyce Banda to say, look, we've come to collect you. You are now the president because 𝗵𝗂𝗴𝗶 has died. This is what the Constitution says. This did not go down well with Peter Mutharika. My Joyce Banda was sworn in as Malawi president against the wishes of Peter Mutharika. Then Peter Mutharika worked to make sure that my Joyce Banda does not win an election, and he wins the election. He worked very hard to make sure that that doesn't happen. After that, my Banda became president. An election was held where Peter Mutharika won. And when Peter Mutharika won, General Vincent Nundwe remained in power as the general, but his relationship with the Peter Mutharika, it was a very bad relationship. He couldn't work, he couldn't execute his duties as the general or commander of the defense forces of Malawi. So what happened now? I'm telling this story so that our generals in Zimbabwe, if you are listening to what I'm saying here, be warned. Be warned. If you are a general, just continue. Do your work as general or commander of defense forces, Valerio Swanda. this address is to Valerio Swanda. This address is to Valerio Swanda. Those who can tag Valerio Swanda to listen to what I'm saying today. Malawi is a shining beacon of democracy. This is why I am talking about General Vincent Nundwe, who is the commander of the Malawi Defense Forces. Right. So, General Nundwe remained in his power until the next election that ushered Lazarus Chakwera to be president. Elections were held. They were disputed elections. And the police, the people of Malawi took to the streets to demonstrate against that. There was a lot of rigging, V11s being changed and so forth. A lot of electoral irregularities surfaced. And the people of Malawi, they said, no, we cannot accept this. This is not a free and fair election. Malawi is a democratic country. And the people took to the streets to protest. The police went into the streets, tried to bludgeon Malawians. Do you know what General Vincent Nundwe did? He sent his soldiers into the streets, disarmed all the police, and escorted the protesters. So he advised the army that you must protect law and order. The police has failed to protect law and order in this country. So he issued an order to the Malawi Defense Forces to say, look, disarm all the police. Take them out of the streets. Because they cannot, they have shown that they are biased. They cannot protect the constitution of this country. And the Malawi Defense Forces, they guarded the protesters during their protests. You know what he said? He told the Malawians that if I see you with a matchbox, you'll be arrested and you'll be put in prison. If I see you with a machete, you'll be arrested, you'll be put in prison. If I see you stoning someone or stoning a building, you'll be arrested. You said your demonstration is going to be peaceful demonstration in Malawi, and you are guaranteed your constitutional rights of demonstration. And the Malawians went into the streets. They demonstrated against the government. They demonstrated against the shambolic run of the elections. And the Chief Justice nullified those elections and said, look, these elections were not done free and fair. You see, during that time, Peter Mutharika was not happy. He automatically fired. He eventually fired General Vincent Nundwe. He was fired as the commander-in-chief of Malawi Defense Forces. He did not resist that firing. He just went home. And he stayed home. You understand? Then elections were nullified. A rerun was ordered in Malawi. I want to say to General Valerio Swanda that, look, copy democracy or copy how professional soldiers do their business in a country. Don't be used by ZANU-PF to go and shoot innocent civilians. But I don't know if it's me. I can't hear you at all. Yeah, it's your it's your gadget. I said, switch it off and switch it on. Today, I'm just giving a warning to Valerio Swanda. I'm giving a warning to Emmerson Mnangagwa and Associates. People can hear me loud and clear. Chemkwanda, switch off your gadget and switch it on again. You understand? So, the firing or the sacking of General Vincent Nundwe by Peter Mutharika. Although we all understand that Mutharika had the ultimate responsibility of the Malawi Defense Forces as the commander-in-chief, and had these powers vested in him, powers of appointment and dismissal. It must be my device, yes, your device. And it more. So, he had powers as commander-in-chief of appointing and dismissing the commander of the Malawi Defense Forces. He had the powers, the Mutharika. It was improper for him to use such powers without a cause, because General Vincent Nundwe had protected the protesters, and this did not go well with Mutharika, to the extent that he went on to fire. That was inappropriate use of those powers vested in him as Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of Malawi. So as a result, when elections were held, Peter Mutharika lost that election, confirming the previous election that he had lost that election. I can hear you now. Thanks, Asad. I knew it's your gadget, my brother. Anyway, welcome back. Let me summarize what I've said so far. So far, I know you couldn't hear me. So far, I'm talking about. I'm giving a warning to General Valerio Swanda in Zimbabwe that if he wants to learn some lessons, he should look into the lessons of Malawi. Malawi is a shining beacon of democracy in SADC or Southern Africa. I'm talking about the sacking of General Lundu, who was the commander of Malawi Defense Forces. He was sacked by Peter Mutharika. The reasons being, he ordered that all the policemen in Malawi be disarmed, because police were overzealous. They were shooting at the protesters. So he didn't want any protester in Malawi to die, because protesting against the government is a right which is enshrined in the Constitution of Malawi. As a result, the commander of defense forces gave an order to say, soldiers, please protect the people who are protesting. No policeman must arrest them, but ensure that those protesters do their protest peacefully. No one is allowed to hold a stone. No one is allowed to be seen with a matchbox. No one is allowed to stone anyone or beat up anyone. Let the protest be peaceful. And the protest was done. The Chief Justice ordered a re-election, nullified the results of the elections, which Peter Mutharika had rigged and said he had won. And an election rerun was ordered. A rerun was made. And before that rerun was made, Peter Mutharika was not happy about the conduct of General Vincent Nundwe. So he fired General Nundwe to say, you are fired because of this. But we all know that the Commander-in-Chief has got powers vested in him by the Constitution as Commander-in-Chief. A President of Malawi has got powers vested in him as Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of Malawi. He can appoint and fire a general. But in this cause, there were it was improper. You cannot fire a general or a commander of the defense forces for protecting the rights of citizens enshrined in the constitution of a country. So this is where the defense forces or the soldiers moved in to protect the people, and Mutharika had no right to fire General Vincent Nundwe. This is why you see, I can salute General Nundwe every time I meet him. I say boss, because he is someone who with the dignity. He is a professional soldier who did his duties professionally, who safeguarded the Constitution of Malawi. Then the Chief Justice nullified the results of the election. A rerun was ordered, which Peter Mutharika lost. When Mutharika lost, the results ushered Lazarus Chakwera as the new president of Malawi. When he came in office, he took it to his Malawi Broadcasting and said, look, the commander-in-chief, as a commander-in-chief, with the powers invested in him, he find the sacking of our General Nundwe as improper. It was really improper. And he reinstated him. And akazvitaura kuti zvematitle deeds kuchekeresa vanhu onai zvakuitika kuepweka mahwani mwana wamai. So you find Mutharika fired Nundwe in March to protect, because he had protected demonstrators and the results of the elections which he had rigged. And my generals edo aka nzwisa zvakapuwa kare. So what happened So what I'm saying here is after General Nundwe was sacked by Mutharika, elections were done, and the Constitutional Court, since the Constitutional Court had nullified the rigged elections by Mutharika and called for fresh polls, elections were done and won by Lazarus Chakwera in that year. After Chakwera was now sworn in as new president of Malawi and the commander-in-chief of the defense forces, he straight away went to reinstate Nundwe because what he wanted to see is justice being done, especially on the operations of Malawi defense forces. In doing so, he said his purpose was to ensure that there is justice in that country, and decisions were made fairly, not unfair decisions which were being made by Peter Mutharika. So looking at that, he didn't want anything inflicted on the general. This is why the general was reinstated. So this is a warning that I'm giving to the Zimbabwe commander of the general or the general commander of the defense forces, Valerio Swanda. I am giving you a warning. I am telling you to learn from what the Malawians did. You know, Malawi is now a shining beacon of democracy. And Malawi is a shining beacon of democracy now. So General Nundwe was reinstated by Chakwera as the commander of the Malawi Defense Forces. And Chakwera also announced he will convene a meeting of the Defense Council to discuss the appointment of the new deputy commander of the Malawi Defense. That means those who were promoted corruptly were removed, because the president was the commander-in-chief and had these powers of appointment. And so this is why I am saying this is a nice warning to our generals in Zimbabwe. Do your job professionally. Ensure that Zimbabweans or whoever want to protest in our country is protected. Don't let the army or the police blush on people like what we have witnessed. Because as I have mentioned, that this world is a very small world. It's a very small world. Let me look into the topic of the day. What happened to Dos Santos? What happened to Sani Abacha? People must be warned. These are very good examples that I've picked up to discuss today. That we are going to discuss about what happened in Angola. We are going to discuss about what happened in Nigeria after Sani Abacha died, after Dos Santos died. These people, they created wealth for themselves. They siphoned billions and billions of United States dollars from Nigeria and put them in offshore accounts, to the extent that Sani Abacha became a billionaire instantly. He just ruled Nigeria for 5 years. But from 5 years before he died in 1998, he had become one of the richest Nigerians to ever emerged in that country. Why? It's like I've stated here that if you are getting a tender, any government tender in Zimbabwe goes to Secunda. Any government tender in our country is taken by Secunda. To the extent that even Emmerson Mnangagwa's children have joined in the looting of our resources. So I am saying to the people of Zimbabwe, if you don't take the Al Jazeera document, the gold mafia, seriously, you will see the consequences as we move on. Imimi, as Zimbabweans, you might be scared of discussing it. You might be scared of talking about it. But that Al Jazeera document has got a very negative impact on the families of Emmerson Mnangagwa and their associates in terms of looting Zimbabwe resources. I am talking this referring to Dos Santos' daughter, Isabel Dos Santos, who became the richest person in Africa, who became the richest woman in Africa. How did he amaze her richness? What was the origin of her money? He even went to invest in Portugal. He invested a lot of money in Portugal. He invested in several banks in Portugal. He invested even in a cable television company in Portugal. He invested in engineering firms in Portugal. But the question remains the same. What was her origin? What was the origin of her wealth? What was the origin of her money? Where did she get this money to go and invest in Portugal? She became owner of Angola. Where did she get this money to invest in? It's a warning to the government of Zimbabwe. It's a warning to those associates of Emmerson Mnangagwa who are getting all those government tenders at inflated amounts. You have seen it from 𝗿𝗲𝗴𝗶𝗁 writing here. It's not funny. My postings they will be used in future. Get me wrong, all right. There are people who are keeping those Twitter accounts and so forth, because they will be used in future to recover the monies that are being stolen from Zimbabwe. This is why you see yeah. All right. Sorry, guys. This is why I am saying, look at this Dos Santos, Isabel Dos Santos. Her empire began to crumble under the leadership of new Angola's president, 𝗃𝘂𝗲𝗵𝗁. So her empire began to crumble under the new leadership of a new president who took office in 2017 after Dos Santos died. Her father died. As Lloyd Stone Mutambisi kwakaputika demu rikauraya vanhu kupa vanhu mataito dzidzo vasina proper survey zvakaoma. So what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is what we are seeing today in Zimbabwe, where Emmerson Mnangagwa's kids are getting every tender. I've seen one of the posts yaitwa na Uncle Jd's vice post. Pa post ipapo vakanyora vakati havana chavanyora, but I document ravaita cut and paste rangachitaura kuti Emmerson Mnangagwa Jr. is consultant 𝗃𝗂𝗵𝗵 and so forth. That zvichaputika mangwana izvozvo. This world is very small, guys. Vangaba vakatora mari idzi vakaisa kuma offshore accounts, vakaita zvavanoda, vakavaka dzimba kunana Dubai, vakavaka mahotera avari kuvaka, vakatenga mabhazi, vakaenda kunana Belarus, vakaita zvavari kuita. But that will eventually come to an end, as we are going to discover soon that Isabel Dos Santos' empire crumbled under a new leader in the MPLA, because the MPLA is a political party that gained that helped Angola gain independence in 1975 from the Portuguese. Angola and the UNITA, they fought together for the independence of Angola in 1975. But soon after they gained independence, these two political parties, they differed in ideology. And as a result, vakatanga kurovana futi. Mukaitika civil war muAngola. Angola is a very rich country, but makaitika civil war which lasted for ages. And more. These two parties, UNITA and MPLA, they are like ZAPU and ZANU. They fought the Portuguese together until the country gained independence in 1975. After that country gained independence, the two political parties, they differed. ZANU and ZAPU. Ndobva vatanga civil war yekurovana. Zvakaitika muZimbabwe exactly. That's the same that happened in Angola soon after independence. And the Angolan war ended recently with the death of 𝗃𝘂𝗵𝗵𝗶 and on. So what happened now is Eduardo dos Santos became president of Angola, papa independence papa. Aita president of Angola, dos Santos akabva atanga kuita corruption, as corruption yamaona yaitwa na Mugabe, as corruption yamuri kuona iri kuitwa na Emmerson Mnangagwa. What happened to dos Santos is mwana wake started obtaining Angolan companies, started obtaining tenders from the government and more. As I'm talking today, her empire has collapsed and she might face like a warrant arrest, international warrant of arrest, because she has been cut, she has been humbled and cut to size. This is what I can say here, that Isabel dos Santos today has been humbled and has been cut to size because after her father's death, investigations were done under new president João Lourenço. So we are not saying the opposition will follow the monies that are banked in these offshore accounts by Mnangagwa's people and his associates. No, but someone even in ZANU-PF, if the opposition failed to garner majority to run a country, someone might and they loot and go to the same foreign countries and stash. Exactly. It's very foolish because they are repeating the same errors that were done by other presidents. The world is small. If they loot all these billions they are looting from our country, obviously they go and stash them in foreign banks. They go and stash them in foreign countries. And those are to do away with US dollar, what BRICS, why do this Amari, China, Nana, Russia. But those people are white people, Avasma blacks, Avanapfungwa. Even if they bank the monies in China, one way or the other, China, I demand corruption. Don't you want to ZANU-PF, China, in China, if you engage in corruption, Chinese, they sentence you to death. You die in China. Corruption, I'm going to come Zimbabwe. Yeah. Mnangagwa, Yamagona, Yakaitwa, 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶, yeah. Ingadai, yet anyone or triple firing squad in Nana China. Nana Korea, Munofa. Saka, it will be very difficult for them to loot their money. The monies go and bank them in China. Because China enough fun in the corruption. Corruption is a death sentence in China. And in the Saka, if you look at what's happening with Isabel dos Santos, she's the daughter, the eldest daughter of Prosper 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶, my brother. I'm well, my brother. She's the eldest daughter of Eduardo dos Santos. Eduardo dos Santos ruled, Pakutanga Namboti from 1975, no, from 1979 to 2017. No Pakatonga dos Santos are president from 1970. I made an error there. From 1979, but this country gained independence in 1975. In 1979, Eduardo dos Santos became its president until he died in 2017. So this Isabel dos Santos is the eldest child one wa Jose dos Santos mdara aitonga kupi ku Angola akafa 2017 mdara. This Isabel became Angola's richest business person, or the richest woman in Africa. Probably in 2017, she worth about 3.5 or 4 billion of US dollars. So she was probably the richest lady in Africa, or the richest person in Africa. But what happened today? Soon after her father died in 2017, everything crumbled. The government of Angola had a new president came in form of 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶. Then 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶, what he did, he ordered an investigation into all the deals aitwa na Isabel na baba wake. The first move they did was to freeze her assets in Angola. The Portuguese authorities in Portugal, they followed suit. They froze her assets in Portugal. And in so her empire today, as I'm talking about, is just a shadow of what it was before the death of her father. 𝗹𝗲𝗴𝗶𝗁 and Imona. Because even if you go to Angola, there are also corruption charges levied against her. She's facing corruption charges. With all the courts in Angola, they've frozen all her assets. And in 3 other different nations, her assets were frozen. This is a warning to those people who associate with Emmerson Mnangagwa, to those people who are given government tenders and Sakunda Kamban, fuel Sakunda, the stadium Sakunda, all roads in Zimbabwe Sakunda, everything is Sakunda in our country. And Imon. Saka, be warned that all those assets will be frozen. And the monies that they are banking outside the country will be frozen. If Kanagashi Benga in China, it's a very unfortunate in China. Because my Chinese, they don't do corruption. When the corruption in China is a death sentence. So as a result, to Mnangagwa's people, you are going to lose control of your accounts. And you have no chance of controlling them. As Isabel today, she has got 1.6 billion US dollars locked up or frozen into 3 nations, including Angola. She cannot access any cent from those. They are frozen because of the corruption charges levied against her. She built a home in Dubai. There is an island there, a private island in Dubai. She built a mansion there. And she has got another house in London, here in the United Kingdom. She's got a boat that she bought, a 𝗃𝘂𝗄𝗏, which costs about 35 million, which operates between Dubai and London. And then, but her empire crumbled because her father died. Where did she get all these monies that she invested worldwide? She have got a lot of my bank accounts everywhere, in every country. Isabel garnered stakes, especially in banking sector in Angola, banking sectors outside Angola. She garnered stakes even in the manufacture of Angolan cement. She has got companies in Angola. She has got a stake in diamonds in Angola. Even telecommunications, the Niteo ya Angola was her company. So, in other words, she was like an octopus of the economy of Angola, where she will spread everything and grab everything like Sakunda in our country, Zimbabwe. She became the most influential business person in Angola. If we talk about the most influential business person in Zimbabwe, the first name that comes to your mind is 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶. She's the Isabel of Angola. She's the Dos Santos of Angola. Every government tender goes to 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶. It's just a warning, because he is an associate of the president. So I'm just telling him this so that he understands that the world is very small. No matter, because you cannot bank your loot in our country. Obviously, you inflate all the tenders, you take all the monies, you deposit them in foreign banks, in offshore accounts. But I am warning you, as you are going to discover during this presentation, that this world is a very small world. No matter which country you go to bank that money is traceable. But once that money is linked to your family members, your associates and friends, that money is traceable. And that money can still be recovered and brought back into Zimbabwe for development of a country. And more. If you look at Isabel dos Santos, every major Angolan investment, yaida kuitwa mu Angola, Dos Santos anenge antoine a chunk of every investment. Mfesa inzi Dangote akauya achida kugadzira cement plant. They demanded a kickback kune mfesi uyo kusvika aramwa kuinvesta muZimbabwe. So every company that wants to do business in our country or from anywhere, or investors from another country who want to do business in our country, they have to have this pen, president's pen, that Sakunda must be involved. It's either Sakunda will be involved with that company, either his son will be involved in that company. So the president is stroke of a pen to say, look, we've got an investor coming into this country who is supposed to be in there. It's either his children or the Sakunda. So it's a warning to Sakunda and his children that it's unfortunate that the monies you think you are amazing, those monies are gonna be recovered. This is the issue about Isabel. Everything has been frozen. Everything has been frozen. And after these things have been frozen, now the monies she held in her accounts is to be repatriated or returned back to Angola for Angola's development. Every bank rake apana bank risina kubatwa. Everything is frozen. So this is just a warning to Sakunda, a warning to any other Mnangagwa's associate, that no matter how much you put in your foreign banks, eventually that money will be recovered. Eventually that money will be brought back into to develop Zimbabwe. It's good luck that you are just taking it. Private jets, but be warned, if you are banking that money, we will still recover it. And more. Because if I am telling you guys, from the research that I've made, it's pathetic that Africa is a continent. From 1970 to 2008, Africa has lost about 850 billion US dollars. That 850 billion US dollars is the monies that went to build Dubai, the monies that built London, the monies that built other foreign cities. Unana China, wana Moscow, wakavakwa nemari dzeko Africa. Wakavakwa nemari dzeko Africa. Foreign countries were built by monies that were siphoned from Africa. A very good example, when I was looking into the examples. Ukata samari Nigeria chayo, it lost 217 billion, 217.7 billion. That was lost from Nigeria. If you look at Egypt, it lost about 105 billion. If you look at South Africa, it lost about 81.8 billion. That was lost into European countries. That was lost into Asian countries. The monies that were supposed to develop Africa to be better than Asia, the monies that were supposed to develop Africa to be better than Europe, those monies were taken out of Africa and banked in Europe, developed Europe. Nanas from 1970 up to now, Zimbabweans trikunwa mvura yema sewage. We are drinking mvura yema sewage. Atina magetsi munyika medu. We've got nothing. Yanaishtaura vanhu pane rimwe group ndikati chinhu chinonzi economy yenyika is electricity. This is when you see even whites, when they came, the first thing they had to do is generate electricity, build industries. Industries work with electricity. And akwira richifamba mgomo zvirizemo andiri mukuna nyaya dzatiri kutaura. We have lost a lot of investment in Africa. We can't do modern buildings, modern roads, and so forth. But our monies that we have lost, about 850 billion from 1970 to now, is used to build Europe. And Maria Aibude Yega, these autocratic leaders. A good example is Emerson Mnangagwa was dealing with those Asians in Dubai. Goride rukubuda richienda. Mari dzidzoka dzichipinda accounts avo kunana Dubai ikoko. They are evading even paying tax for development of our country. So the continent on its own, every year, the continent, Africa is a continent. Every year it's losing about 50 billion every year. And out of those 50 billion every year that is being lost by the continent, Zimbabwe loses about 17 billion, 17.5 billion. Out of 50 billion lost from Zimbabwe, from Africa, yearly, annually, Zimbabwe is losing about 17 billion. That is going to build, that is building foreign countries instead of building our country. So these illicit financial outflows, they need to be stopped now. Because if you look at Zimbabwe, your president in Zimbabwe is engaging multinational companies. Can I doubt my elections in Zimbabwe? I don't doubt my elections. I don't know engage. I know Nikuv paid them $10 million to come and conduct our elections in Zimbabwe. And from the day of independence, apana development, looting, apana development. By now, 43 years of independence, they were supposed to have been pointing to us that look, Lomagund Road is a motorway. 4 lanes going to Kariba, 4 lanes coming, 4 lanes going to Chirundu, 4 lanes coming to Harare. Mutare Road is a motorway. 4 lanes going to Mutare, 4 lanes coming back to Harare. Bulawayo Road is a motorway. They should be pointing to us 43 years of independence. But there is no development. Ukaona nyika ichitadza kuzvisira magetsi. Naishitaurira umwe ndikati uri kuona mu-UK munomu. Magetsi angu ayakangoenda within an hour akadzimwa nevanhu vemunomu magetsi. I will be compensated. Each and every household in street momo affected with the load shedding will be compensated. Don't receive a check emari. Ya toto pure. Boza ando zari magetsi akaenda zvinhu zviri mafiriji muzvoshata needs to be replaced. So we receive a check, a compensation for that. But in our country, it's like a norm. Magetsi anoenda for 20 hours. 20 hours magetsi ari kusina. People will just do 4 hours. Magetsi anoya just 4 hours. For 24 hours. For 20 hours, tingetisina magetsi. And the government doesn't care. Vana Mnangagwa don't care. Billions and billions of US dollars are being stashed in outside or foreign offshore accounts. What's the country suffering? This is what we call engaging in fraudulent schemes. The Zimbabwe government, Mnangagwa the president, and his associates, Anasakunda and so forth, they are engaging in these fraudulent schemes. And these fraudulent schemes, as you heard from Hubert Angel himself, is to avoid to pay tax. Goride rubuda undocumented to Dubai. Nema private jets. Mari rikuya iru muma beg ane diplomatic seal. Ekuti ahabvumirwe kuvhurwa kana pa airport. There is a diplomatic seal. Andimona. Mari irikuya iru ma bag ane ma diplomatic seal. You are not even allowed to open that bag. No customs officer can search that bag. Andimona. Guys, murundinzwa here. Because someone is tampering with my Facebook, not responding. You don't cut a presentation. You don't cut a presentation. Please send my love and likes in one. Hey. kowiki neuchivhayo anoita business rei kuba ndo nyaya yatiri kutaura panapa kuti these are Mnangagwa's associates, people who are stealing. Thanks guys, because inoda kukata presentation yangu. Someone could be tempering. Andimuona ndichibaya apa. Facebook isn't responding. Saka ndiri kuti wait. Saka it might cut us from this presentation. Tetawira pasi because I've moved a lot. Kundizoitangisa futi wakomana. Kundizoitangisa futi anenge ama 1. Anditi maona. Saka let me continue. Ichingonyora zvairi kuita ichingotaura kuti wait. Apakaipa. Saka you see a very good question being asked here. What is 𝗃𝗂𝗵𝗶𝗿𝗂's business? What is he doing in Zimbabwe that gives him millions? He flies to Dubai, flies everywhere, come here, buy a Rolls Royce for 700,000 pounds. What is his business? Totoona vanataireji vanozviti maprofita vachieresa motikari dzinotengwa nemari yekuba. Anditi maona. Saka these are fraudulent schemes that Emmerson Mnangagwa is engaging himself, his children are engaging in these fraudulent schemes. The people we think are God's people, what are you, 𝗵𝗵𝗴𝗶, engaging in all these tax avoiding schemes, stealing from the government. This is why we are saying that monies must be recovered, must be brought back into Zimbabwe for the development of our country. That money belongs to the state. So the stolen funds must be recovered. The stolen funds must be paid back into special recovery fund. A good example is like in 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶𝗿𝗁 case. In 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶𝗿𝗁 case, the monies were recovered from his accounts, and the monies were paid into Nigeria sovereign investment authority. This is why I am saying, as Zimbabweans, we must copy this from Nigeria. Someone from Nigerian's ruling party came into power and investigated 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶𝗿𝗁's misappropriation of funds. The monies were recovered from 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶𝗿 and his associates' accounts, and the monies were taken back into Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority account. If you look at America, a very good example, if you look at how much 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶𝗿 had stashed in foreign accounts in Nigeria, from Nigeria, Swiss bank, if you go to Swiss bank, he had about $321 million in Swiss bank. If you go to 𝗃𝗂𝗵𝗁, Channel Islands, he had about $267 million. These monies were discovered in 2019. Yegu Channel Islands, Yegu Swiss bank in 2017 when he died. Abacha, he ruled Nigeria for 5 years after he took that country from a coup. And he is believed to have stolen about $4.3 billion from Nigeria while he was in office for the 5 years that he ran that country. He is like in a same league with the likes of Mobutu Sese Seko, who looted DRC, Zaire. So we have got a similar leader in our country in form of Emmerson Mnangagwa. He's in the league of 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶𝗿. He's in the league of Mobutu Sese Seko. They are busy giving themselves tenders, inflating those tenders, and making billions and billions of money. If you look at my European banks, they had about 2.2 billion. 𝗃𝗂𝗴𝗶𝗿 chete. The monies that was stolen by this dictator from Nigeria. So what I'm saying here is, whatever Mnangagwa regime is doing today, this world is very small. 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗁 was a sophisticated example, or a sophisticated case, where this 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗁 himself's monies were discovered, and those monies were taken back to Nigeria. The monies were repatriated back to Nigeria. Unfortunately, out of 4.3 billion which was discovered, yakazosvika yakuma3 billion atete 𝗃𝘂𝗲𝗿 zirikufamba here. Yakazosvika yakuma2 billion something. The other yakabiwa foot. Nigeria yakobiwa. But I'm just giving a warning.